Well, hi everybody, and welcome back to my Corvette channel and to my office away from the office. A little more privacy here, especially when we film during the day, nobody knocking on the window. Oh, excuse me, I just got a quick question. Oh, I'm sorry, you're filming? Oh, that's okay, I just had a quick question. Some market news today that I've been avoiding simply, well, you'll see here in just a moment, but we're going to tell you what is going on so you have you've got an idea, but so you know exactly what is going on and what is about to happen in the marketing for Corvette, especially if you're on the fence, you've been waiting forever trying to order this car. But first and foremost, a big thank you and a big congratulations to Chevrolet for making Corvette once again the 18th time the Indy 500 pace car at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is super cool because I'm a huge Indy 500 Corvette pace car fan, and the only thing that would be cooler is if your boy Ricky was the first non-celebrity pace car driver. Might just have to start that Let Rick Drive campaign again. That would, man, it would be a great thrill, but it would be a great honor for me to put a Corvette guy behind a Corvette on the track of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway representing you guys. Not just some actor that's looking for a gig, somebody that actually loves this car and understands the passion of Corvette. I think that's what we need in an Indy 500 pace car driver. Do we not? Let Rick drive. Right where Corvette's supposed to be, leading the pack at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the 18th time, the Indy 500 pace car. Now, I'm excited that I have my first ever new Corvette, but let me tell you this, the next Corvette I'm gonna get, 98 pace car. Yeah, many of you knew that already. That is, I had an opportunity to buy one. I'll forever regret not getting that particular one, but yeah, the next Vette that I get will be that car. I am a fanatic when it comes to Indy 500 Corvette pace cars, really am. Thanks for joining us today. Let's talk about some market news stuff going on. Not doing a viewer mail this week. Let me just say this, many of you are so kind and generous. I love sharing your stories. The things you do for us are so appreciated. But some of you, because I went to the post office yesterday to send something to my oldest son in California, and the lady recognized my hat, and she says, oh, because when you send something to the dealership, it doesn't go directly to the dealership. It goes to our box that's about a quarter mile up the street. So they'd had over 20-some packages that have been sitting there for me, from you, that are being sent back to the sender because nobody at the store picked them up. I don't know. I have no idea. You're like, what the heck are you talking about? I don't know what's going on. So had I known they were there, I would go down and pick them up myself. So thank you again. So when you get the return to sender, you're like, hey, what's going on? Nobody picked them up. I didn't know they were there. They didn't come directly to the physical part at the building. It goes to the post office. So if you want to send it back, you can. It's kind of weird. Just want to let you know that. Going on in the marketplace right now regarding 2021 and 2022. Let's talk about 22 first. Got some key dates for you guys. Coming up on June 9th, you'll be able to go online and build a 22 Corvette in the visualizer. Now, this is not to be confused with the builder that most of us use. This is also kind of like a builder, but you can kind of flip the car around, stuff like that. The visualizer will be live on June 9th. On June 28th, which is further out than what they originally said, on June 28th, we will get the PDF, and I'll share that with you guys, the order guide. If there are any changes, I don't expect there to be. All we've seen so far is the color changes that Chevrolet announced at the Corvette Museum at the end of April. But that full detailed order guide, and it's nice to look at it. I don't know, I'm old school. I want to look at something and read it and look at the columns. Okay, this goes in this. We'll have that for you guys for the 22 Corvette on June 28th. That's on a Monday. And then building your car online at Chevrolet.com. That tool goes full live on September 6th. And that makes a lot of sense now. Some of the intel that I shared with you guys on my socials the other day, again, not official from Chevrolet yet, but comes from a very good source. And I wanted to share that with you as this is an ever-changing marketplace, just to give you some anticipation of what's going on. It looks like 21 Corvettes will be building into September. How far into September, I don't know yet, but probably just a little bit. Once I hear from Chevy, I'll let you guys know, but also too, just to let you know, because there's been so much time off coming up in July, the plant workers are not taking their full 2 weeks off for the 4th of July. And I think you, I, and they would agree that they've had more than enough time off. So it's gonna be equivalent to be like a long weekend. They're ready to roll and get cars going for all of us. Unfortunately, it's not enough right now, and that is the environment that we're in and things that I really didn't want to talk about, but it's out of our control. It is what it is. Let's talk more details about remaining 2021 allocations, and then we'll start all over for 2022. Real quick, let me read this comment that was on the channel the other day talking about order statuses and so forth. Chicago Junkman wrote, it says, Rick, help. We would love an update. I've been stuck at 3,000 status for a few months and I'm getting a little nervous. Are status 3,000 buyers likely to get their cars anytime soon? Man, your guess is as good as mine. I've got a car sequenced, and in case you didn't know what that means, a 3,000 status is a good thing. That means it takes an allocation that was basically in our file drawer and is now live in the GM build system, simply waiting for sequence to be built, but it is a guaranteed order. But I've got an order sitting there since February 16th, sorry Bob, just a white convertible, still waiting to be sequenced. And orders after his have not only been sequenced, they've been built, they've been delivered. Again, no control over this. It is the environment in which we're in right now. And we're certainly not out of yet either. And actually, all of the cars we had built have been delivered to the dealership. So I have no cars sitting at Bowling Green right now. I have cars sequenced that we're supposed to be building this week, but of course the assembly plant is shut down. We're anticipating they go back to work next week. Those cars will be built. But look at this picture. Yes, the plant parking lot is looking a little dismal. Well, they're working. They're still shipping cars, even though the plant is shut down for production. But here's what's going to happen. When they come back to work, they're going to fill that lot up before they start shipping cars right away again. They're not going to ship cars out of there with 3 on the truck. They're going to wait till that truck is full, and then they'll start shipping. So that means if you've got a car that's held up that's supposed to be built, and then does get built probably next week or the week after, it's more than likely middle or early June before you see that car. So get ready for that. Here's another picture I want you to look at, and that's relative to what we're doing and dealing with right now for the remaining 2021 Corvette allocations and distribution. We did get the quantities from Chevrolet for build out. We have a May allocation cycle that starts today, and we have one more coming in June. But keep in mind, the numbers that we got are a fraction of what we've been getting. And those numbers have already been a fraction of what we were supposed to get. So it is absolutely insane right now, you guys. And the numbers in the upper left-hand corner you're looking at, they're not the exact numbers that I'm getting, but it gives you an idea. Those are the numbers, those are the people that their orders are being released and going to be going to 3,000 status, finalize their order, get sequenced for build, and actually get to the point they can enjoy what we've been sharing on the channel in their Corvette. Now, the people down in the lower right-hand corner, that's a representation of the people waiting for those orders still to be placed to move up to that left-hand side. Most of those people on that right-hand side are not going to be moving to the left. We don't have enough quantities. And that's what we're dealing with. We're doing all we can to help you guys. I appreciate you hanging in there, but we're not going to have enough quantities to place. And every dealer's in the same situation. All the 1,100 status orders we have right now will not be placed as a 21 order. You're not automatically transferred either to a 22. That's dealer discretion. You start all over, and there is no price protection at that point. Now, for the folks with us that won't get a 2021, and you're in the queue right now with 1,100 status order, you'll be asked if you want to continue and go over to a 2022 and start all over. And we'll go through the processes and talk more about that in future videos. But what do we say? Again, out of our control. And truly the environment that we're in right now, that's not a lot of fun and not news that I wanted to give everybody, but this is what we're dealing with. When you've got this many people that want a car and you only have this many to distribute, it's math at that point. It's nothing personal. It's very difficult. So that's the market update. Before we go though, I've got something really fun and really nutty I got to share with you guys. A few videos back, we shared with you that spy video of the would-be, whatever it was, Z06 doing launches. Little launch control action. Actually, Ryan and I did that the other night, and it scared the crap out of us. A video of that is still to come on my channel. But, and just so you know, That video I shared, why I watermarked it, I paid for the rights to broadcast that video. In fact, we were truly documented, the first ones on the internet with that video. We beat Road and Track and Car and Driver by an hour. Now, someone said, hey, Rick just ripped that video and then put it up on his channel. Oh no, I couldn't put a watermark on that if I didn't own the rights and the opportunity to broadcast that. Believe me, I shared a 10-second segment from, I think it was Car and Driver, Road and Track, and even referenced their full video and a link. Oh no, I got the phone call and demanded to take that out of my video. So Ricky didn't rip nothing. Anyways, a really cool guy, Kyle Marsh, took our video. Thank you, Kyle, for doing that. Took some calculus, this is way above my pay grade, and dissected that video very creatively to come up with a would-be 0 to 60 time for what is a would-be if it was a Z06 Corvette. You guys, this is a little bit of brain damage. He talks way above us. But don't forget, the next time that I'll see you will be on our Sunday Coffee with Conti show, sharing the first time where you went in your new Corvette. And then I'll tell you where I went the first time when I got my new Corvette. And trust me, it's nothing glamorous. All right, check out this Z06 0 to 60 guesstimate that is pretty insightful.
So I myself am a avid Corvette enthusiast, so I own a Z06, an older one, and other GM sports cars. So I saw this video come online and it got me thinking I could probably calculate a ballpark acceleration set of numbers just based on the fact that they're launching the car next to a giant ruler, essentially, because this test track is just a straight, I think it's 2-mile long straightaway at the proving grounds. The equations are basically velocity is the derivative of distance over time. So what I did here is these are my data points of distance versus time in the video. If you do this yourself, you may get a slightly different answer. It's kind of difficult to get exactly the same answer if multiple people do it. But I think this is a very close ballpark, especially given the numbers that ended up coming out of it. So I take this data and I basically just put it in an Excel and fit a polynomial to it. So that's this equation that Excel is saying these are the coefficients. So then what I do with that is this is an equation basically that represents distance over time for the car. So like I said earlier, to get velocity or speed, you just take the derivative of it, which that's like the most basic thing of calculus. You just take the squared term, multiply it by the front coefficient, and then you drop the variable back here and this just becomes a constant. So I'm not going to go into the details past that since it's fairly straightforward and probably most people don't care. But how it works is I basically I took that equation, did what I just said, took the derivative of it, and I calculate miles per hour versus seconds, and then down here I also jotted down the time during the video where the shift happened to get approximately where the shifts are happening miles per hour. So I guess the bottom line that comes out of this math is down here where 0 to 60 I'm getting roughly 2.5 seconds versus the C701 was quoted at like 2.85. And then 0 to 100, the C8, I got 5.6-ish, where the C701 is 6. So, like I said, there is some variability with these distance and times. If you do it yourself with a stopwatch and do the same math and, you know, do the derivative of the equation you get. So I tried it a couple different ways where I was doing it in reference to the butt of the car versus the front of the car. They didn't seem to entirely start the car right at the 0.1 marker. It seemed like it was slightly past it because it's out of frame in this video, and this tire mark, I believe, was slightly behind the 0.1 if you dig through the video. So whatever. Long story short, I had to adjust that a little bit with these distances that I calculate with the mileage markers. My math is basically saying it's roughly 2.5 seconds to 60. Most conservative estimate I think I had was like 2.8-ish. Something you have to keep in mind is if you go from here all the way down to where the car is, which was roughly at the 0.1 mile marker, which I believe was here. That's roughly 1,000 feet. I did a quick calculation. The speed of sound is like 767 miles an hour. Let's say that camera is 1,000 feet away. You do this math and blah blah blah. It comes out, it's a little less than a second delay. So that's why if you try to do what I did and you do the stopwatch based on the chirp itself, then you're late, because by the time the sound hits the camera from 1,000 feet away, then you're using video for the rest of the reference, you're not going to get the right numbers. I'm thinking, since this stuff released online, you know, some guy with a camera with a long lens just looking down the straightaway at the proving grounds, which, you know, on Google Earth you can see this straightaway. Anyone can just pull up here with a long zoom lens. I don't think they're going to do this test again there with a car that they're, you know, trying to hide. So I don't know. Interpret that how you want. I think I'd be surprised if I see them do this test there again. I mean, there's other straightaways they have at the proving ground where people can't look in as much. Like there's this straightaway down here, down the center of the proving ground. So I guess I'm surprised they chose this one right next to the road